As a pet owner, the best thing you can do is ensure that your pets have identification so that you can be reunited if they're lost. Well, now is the perfect time to do that since it's Microchip Madness Month. Joining us now with more is Kelsey Tonoy with the Hawaiian Humane Society. Good morning, Kelsey. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
For those of us who might not know, or maybe new pet owners, what is a microchip?
So a microchip is a small chip that's about the size of a grain of rice. It's implanted in your pet, and what it allows for is, should the worst happen and they go missing, any veterinarian or the Hawaiian Humane Society can find a lost pet, scan for that microchip, and then look at the family contact info on file and hopefully reunite that pet with their owner.
And can you tell us more about that new mandate in the city and county of Honolulu?
Yes, so July 1st, the city and county of Honolulu had a new mandate go into effect, which includes mandatory pet microchipping for dogs and cats.
And this is a great time to do it because August is Microchip Madness Month. What is the promotion going on?
So the Hawaiian Humane Society is partnering, sorry, this is my little pup here. We are partnering with veterinary clinics across the island for Microchip Madness. And what that is Hawaiian Humane, along with these clinics, are waiving the initial cost of that office visit. And we're doing $10 microchipping just so that we can really help reduce the number of lost pets on Oahu and also help educate the public about this new mandate, and just so that families and pets can stay reunited and be as safe as possible.
And how many pets were microchipped last year during this time?
Last year we had about 1,300 microchips. We've had consistently between about 1,300 to upwards of 1,800, and that's really, helpful because with this education, we just want to keep pets as safe as possible.
And after a pet is microchipped, what else should a pet owner do?
After the pet is microchipped, that family should register that microchip with the microchip provider. They should keep their contact info updated in case, that you move or there's any change in that contact info, just to have that info on file.
And if someone's pet goes missing, or maybe you find a pet that seems to belong to someone, what should they do?
If your pet goes missing or you find a missing pet, you can file a report at hawaiianhumane.org. There's both a lost animal report and a found animal report. And so what you would do is fill out as much info as possible, include a photo if you can. And then if people are watching our website, then they can see, if someone has found their pet or if their pet has made their way to the Hawaiian Humane Society, and then we can make that reunion.
And before we let you go, Kelsey, tell us who's joining you on screen right now.
So this is Astro. He's actually a little pup that I just recently adopted from Hawaiian Humane Society. And so this is his debut. He's only 2 months old, and he's a terrier mix. He's getting restless because I'm holding him, and he wants to just run around.
You know what? That's okay, Astro. I feel your pain. I understand what it's like. And I got to say, Kelsey, the noises that Astro was making sounded like my tummy. Like right there. Sounds like my tummy when I need to eat breakfast. Good luck with Astro, though. Oh, he did. All right. Well, thanks for joining us again, Kelsey.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Coming up next, the Department of Education.